Welcome, sorry about my throat. Welcome everyone to this very special reading on fishing for high vibrational beliefs in the situation that you're currently facing. So, every situation we experience in our lives, there are several ways of looking at it. If we are looking at it with a victim perspective, then we focus on how that's hurting us and how it's not fair on us. On the other hand, if we choose to look at the situation that we are currently experiencing as a creator, being aware that we have manifested that to learn something from this experience, to see better, to become more aware of ourselves, to replace our old beliefs with a new belief, and to let go of this compulsive thinking pattern or whatever we are attaching that situation to that brings us pain and heaviness. And so also this reading can also be seen as you feeling guilty about something, about in a situation, and how can you heal from feeling guilty? Because when we feeling guilty, we force ourselves to do something that's not in alignment with ourselves and makes us feel heavy and prevents us from enjoying the moment to the fullest. So the less guilty you feel, the more aligned you feel, the more happier and peaceful you become. And that's what I'm going to call it, fishing for beliefs in the situation, fishing for loving beliefs, high vibrational beliefs, 5D beliefs in the situation to find love and peace. Because at the root of everything is our programming, the way our mind perceives and believes about something. And if we can change that, then we can find peace and happiness, because that is a state of mind that we have to develop and not something to get from the external. So without any further explanation about it, we will go to the 3 piles, and I will be choosing 3 charms from the polymer clay bag that I have. So let's see what charm wants to come out for pile 1. Okay, so we have this crumpled t-shirt for pile 1, and I will zoom in now. Okay, so we have a crumpled t-shirt, and let's see what charm wants to come out for pile 2. Okay, so we have a ring for pile 2. And finally, for pile 3, let's see what charm wants to come out. Okay, so we have this winner stand with people, and that's the laptop. In case you were confused, it's not so obvious, it's just anyway. So yeah, these are the 3 piles to choose from, and the question is, what beliefs can I adopt in this situation to find more love and peace? What beliefs can I fish out from the collective consciousness, the 5D consciousness that is becoming available to all of us? So, and you will find the timestamps for the 3 piles in the description box below, and feel free to meditate and choose one or more than 1 piles. Welcome pile 1, those of you who chose this crumpled t-shirt charm. Let's take a look at what is the situation that we are going to be talking about today. So, what do we need? For what situation do we need to reevaluate the beliefs? Okay. Let's see if any more card wants to come out. Is there any other card that wants to come out for pile 1? Okay. Let's see what card wants to come out for pile 1. Regarding their situation. Yeah, it seems like a lot of cards, but they are all true, so I'll take it. Confusion, faith, dissipating, self-worth, passion, wisdom. Let's see if any of these cards want to come out for pile 1. What needs reevaluation? What belief needs reevaluation? What belief does not serve pile 1 anymore? What card wants to come out for pile 1? What card wants to come out for pile 1? What wants to come out for pile 1? Definitely a work-based reading, work-related reading. And let's see if there are some beliefs that can come out that will help us evolving the old limited belief that no longer serves us. Whoa! Too many cards. But I think I'll take the ones that came out. Very straightforward. Okay, pile 1. So, this reading, the theme of this is this crumpled t-shirt, which is talking about like trying to find what you're good in terms of work that can, so that you can follow your passions and not feel forced to, you know how this t-shirt is left crumpled and yet beautiful. Similarly, like not forced to like folding it properly, just allowing some freedom to just enjoying it without forcing yourself to do certain things the right way, sort of feeling. So here this talks about main male and unexpected income. Perhaps this is talking about an authority figure, a boss that you collaborate with, and perhaps there's a person in your work environment that represents this main male, and it's related to this, to your income. And this in this situation, there is a lot of confusion because you feel very insecure at times in this work environment that you're in. You feel insecure that perhaps, as much as you appreciate this crumpled t shirt, other people are not going to appreciate it because it's not in accordance with what they believe is right. And that kind of forces you to do things the way people expect you to, and you don't feel very good doing that because it takes away from you. Your soul is asking you to do it a certain way, and your mind is telling you to do it a certain way because the people you're working under, they expect you to do it that way. So it's like a mind limitation that's blocking the soul from creatively expressing because of the problem of acceptance from other people. And perhaps you also feel a little scared to face this truth about this situation because when we face the truth about a certain situation there and transcend from it by acknowledging it, accepting it as it is, that often means that we are required to let go of our comfort zone and set out into some unknown territory. And that is scary. Leaving your job to something that you don't really know about um, is scary. And that's what is confusing about you because, as much as you understand that this situation does force you to do things that sort of don't make you um, feel fulfilled, there's a lot of confusion because you don't realize that if not this, then what? The other option is probably not clear. And there is, that's why the universe is confirming here to have faith in the situation. The other thing that is coming through is this dissipating energy. We are always so scared. When we are sort of in this workaholic energy, we can feel very scared when we are not working on anything. Like, even if it's a holiday or a vacation, you feel this, your mind sort of scares you to keep doing things still, to make it mean something, like forcing yourself to cook constantly, or I mean, not constantly, but cook and then do this and then do this and then finish all the errands without really enjoying any of them, and sort of feeling guilty for doing something that you really do love. And that's because there is still some more healing required on your part about your self-worth. Um, and here the universe is telling you that have faith in your passions and in your own wisdom. The viewer who is watching this is very talented and skilled to a point where even they don't realize their own level of, like, there's so much still to come onto the surface. All of this talent that is um, expressed, but there is still a lot more that will come out. There is a lot of wisdom here, and you don't feel good. There's this self-worth card doesn't feel good when you feel like you're not doing anything. It affects your feeling of self-worth. You have this belief that if you don't constantly do something and see the results in the 3D, then your self-worth is going to reduce. If you feel like if you did not cook, clean, work, and do the errands and other chores in the house, then and you did and you spend the day um, just relaxing and watching TV and talking to your pets, um, because you will not see a physical evidence, a new physical creation, you feel insecure and confused because you don't find what to be proud of today. Like, what did you do, what did you create today, how you didn't do your work today. You sort of have this very harsh inner dialogue that even when you're in a vacation or on a holiday, even if you take a day off, you still can't stop thinking about the next things that you have to do in your work. And it sort of is like an insecurity because we have this lack of faith that um, when we will not be, that is scared of um, not being able to do something in the present, or that's scared that uh, you will lose the job, or people will not appreciate you, or somebody else will um, get what you want, sort of a thing. And the lesson that you're learning, the new belief that needs, the situation about which the new belief needs to be replaced is that of work, as I mentioned earlier. And this is related to a karmic lesson that you have chosen to experience in this lifetime, which is about learning to work collaboratively with patience, acceptance, and compassion for yourself and others, overcoming judgment, gossip, tunnel vision, one sided perspective, resolving conflicts with love. This has a lot to do with working collaboratively. Now, it is, of course, a hard thing when you want to, your soul is calling you and pushing you to do things one way, and the people you're working for, they have a very limited perspective. And if you don't work according to them, then you lose the job. And if you do work according to yourself and not them, then you risk losing the job again. And oh, did I say that twice? Anyway, it's like either you're hurting your own self and your own creativity, or you're risking your security and your comfort zone right now. And that's the belief that needs to change here, that when you think you have to, when you realize, and first of all, it takes a lot of courage to come out of this denial. Like, majority of the people are working in denial and they don't want to face this truth about their work situation because they are feeling safe in their comfort zone because it's providing their material needs. However, um, like toxic and over exploiting it may be. Like, today I was watching this show, Desperate Housewives. I have so much respect for that show. I did not expect it to be that good. And in that, one of the characters, she goes to the boss and tells her that I am willing to work extra hours, and my kids are not going to be a problem in my job, because she was like, if you have kids, then that's going to come in the way of your work. Oh my god, I was like, that's so sad that things have come to this point, that your family is now becoming a burden to your work, and people are choosing not to have a family to maintain a stable work life, to maintain a secure um, finance, for like secure financial situation for them. People are choosing to be single and not have kids and not have family because they think of it as a distraction. um, and that's really sad, because That's over exploiting yourself. That's living an imbalanced life. That is coming from a place of lack. When you think it's okay to work extra hours, give more of yourself to a job that you don't even believe in what they stand for, what they're doing, just to please um, your boss or just to maintain security in your job, that's like hurting your soul because that is not in alignment with your soul. You're not required to do this, but that you have to realize, because first you have to realize that that's not true happiness and there is a better way of living. First you have to realize that, and then you need to have a lot of self-worth and courage and faith in the universe that you can manifest abundance for yourself as well as not have to over exploit yourself. You can have a balanced career, abundance, as well as family life. You don't need to be chasing something because other people are chasing it. That's not the only way to live life. That's actually a very toxic way of living life, because when we overwork ourselves, overexploit ourselves, force ourselves to do something that is not in alignment with ourselves, we are channeling pain. And it might not be instantly visible, but it keeps building up in our subconscious, in our subconscious body, in our astral body. And it soon manifests itself physically. That's why people get heart attacks, cancer. All of these things happen when the mind is stressed and worried and burdened. And people don't realize right now how important it is to have a peaceful, calm mind, a balanced mind, one that is not believe in over exploitation of yourself or anybody else, allowing other people to have balanced lifestyles. Yes, one thing should not be an excuse for the other, but if you are true to yourself, you are going to enjoy every moment of your life. And that's what this new 5D consciousness is bringing to the planet, is alignment with our higher selves. If we are aligned to our higher selves, we attract abundance automatically. Whatever we are guided to do, whatever is our sole purpose, when we align ourselves to that, our material needs are met. What is required from us to be able to get to that stage is a lot of courage, is a lot of faith, is a lot of patience, and a lot of self-worth and self-love. Choosing to see the truth despite the fear and the shadow, choosing to step out of your comfort zone, choosing to say no to unhealthy, over-exploiting relationships, having faith that there's always a better way, that your higher self knows. And that's how you can manifest unlimited abundance for yourself. The new beliefs that might help you in this situation are these three. I let go of anything that is not in alignment with my higher self. Ask yourself if you belong, if you feel truly in your heart, keeping your logical mind on the side, like put it aside. Just allow your heart to guide you, whether this is truly where you belong, whether you are truly happy in this situation. And if this situation is in alignment with your higher self, is this what you were called to do? And if it is not, then I am not afraid to let go of anything that is not in alignment with my highest self. Because I trust that when I align myself with my highest self, abundance flows to me naturally. I don't have to force anything, it just flows to me. And I know it can be very hard to trust this at first. But do your research. Look at people who have gone through this, who have left jobs to align themselves, to heal themselves, to do the inner work, and where they are now. Has their quality of life improved? Have they, if you want physical evidence, if you don't trust just words, there are people who have done this and they are more happy, healthy, and abundance flows through them naturally. They don't have to feel worried at every point in their life about their security, about their balance. They allow the flow of the universe to guide them. They listen to their heart, their intuition, their crown chakra, and they know that their higher self already knows everything, and they just need to have faith and go with the flow. And when the time is right, they will be guided to the right things and they will attract the right things. All they can focus on in the present is to be grateful for this wisdom that they have gained and this ability to manifest, being grateful of this ability to manifest, and then focus on having fun every moment, because that's going to attract more happiness and peace in your life. Try to not force yourself to do certain things because your mind is fearful that if it doesn't, then you will lose everything. Try not to act on those impulses. Try to align yourself back to your highest self, to know what to do in the moment, to act out of love and alignment and not out of fear. And the other belief that will be helpful at this time is I embrace the change and send healing to any resistances. You know, one good way of checking if you are feeling resistance in your body is by the way you breathe. Every time you want to check if you feel in the present that you are not so sure about your intuition, breath is a more physical level of checking if you are feeling resistant or if you're flowing freely with the universe. When you're flowing freely with the universe, the breath is going to be deep and calm and consistent. It's going to be slow, long, and it's going to feel very it's going to fill your whole lung and make you feel inspired and motivated. On the other hand, if you are giving up, if you're having a lot of resistances, if you're worried, if you're feeling anxious, if you're confused and feeling insecure, your breath is going to be very restless. You're going to be controlling your breath a lot while you breathe. You'll have a lot of short breaths. And it is in those moments that you can remind yourself that you can change that in that moment, in that very moment itself. When you realize and catch yourself breathing this way, just take 2-3 deep breaths, put on some meditation music for 5 minutes. You can do guided meditations as well. And that helps connect you, ground you, and makes you feel more aligned with your higher self, and then you know what to do. So that's the way, if ever you feel off track, that's the way you can align yourself back. And finally, the belief is that is useful for you in this situation is to stay neutral and detached and just be, without needing to prove your point, taking things personally, holding grudges. Just be your happy divine self. You know, when we are very attached to a certain outcome, we can become very emotionally overwhelmed, so that because we are too scared that the other outcome might happen, and we are totally a big no-no for that outcome, and we are like, we want this outcome and we cannot afford to get this other outcome. And that's what makes you so emotionally charged up, and it kind of pushes you out of alignment or out of your balance. And that's why it's so important to stay emotionally detached and neutral, to know that both outcomes, you will be able to find your peace and happiness in any outcome. And it's very hard to actually embody that, but eventually, as you absorb this belief more and more, it will become easier to stay detached. I remember becoming very emotionally overwhelmed while asking about my twin flame initially in the first few months that was we were talking. I used to become very overwhelmed that if I cannot move on from this person, like I knew getting into that connection, even though I did not know he was my twin flame, I knew that if I started communicating with this guy, there is no way I'm going to be getting over him. Like, it was that bad. And it took a lot of courage for me to be able to start that conversation with him, because I had already gone through a very hard situation where the previous relationship I was in, the guy had chosen to walk away from this relationship to be with somebody else, and that was already a very big blow on my self-worth at that time, because I did not understand the higher perspective of the situation. And so when I started communicating with this twin flame guy, I was very scared that if ever he told me that he does not feel the same way, I would be crushed and I would not be able to move on from that, because um, I remember in my previous relationship, it took me 6 months of daily crying to finally realizing that I'm not going to be pitying myself anymore and I'm choosing to move on. And it was then that I was able to get over it. And so I did not want to spend another 6 months crying over another guy. That was very gutsy. But you know what happened? He did actually ended up telling me at the time that he just wanted to be friends, and that was a very big crushing situation for me. And um, after I found the courage, after months of um, looking for healing and closure, so I was just told that the what I think is a breaking of pattern is not actually a breaking of pattern. I got the closure from the relationship in a very in a not a very positive way, and this cycle might repeat for me. But still, um, that taught me, when I was able to detach myself from that connection, because I had developed a level of self-worth that, and chosen to to detach myself from people, relationship and situations that are not fulfilling to me. When I chose that and I walked away, I learned how to be neutral and detached. From that moment, I could tell myself that if I can do that, I can do anything. It was a very hard challenge for me, and it takes some experiences to develop this state of neutrality, because our egoistic mind becomes very attached to certain outcomes, and we have to learn to let go of the ego and have a healthy ego, um, to be able to have this neutral state, because the ego wants what it wants. It's very stubborn and doesn't want to grow up. And so it takes that evolvement of the soul over the logical mind, of the intuition over the analytical aspect of ourselves, to be able to have this neutral state, to know that both outcomes are going to lead to happy out they are both going to lead to your destiny, and you can find peace in both, and there's nothing better or worse. Every choice has its own rewards and consequences, and just telling yourself all of that and reprogramming yourself, you can learn to become neutral and detached. And another guidance for you here is to not take things personally if other people don't support you in this, because people who don't follow their own heart, their own soul purpose, they are not going to be supportive of you. They are so drowning in their own fears, drowned in their own fears, that they will never advise you to do something like that, to leave your job for something more fulfilling, because their mind is limited. They cannot see beyond the fear, they cannot see beyond the comfort zone. And let go of this pressure of needing to prove yourself to somebody else or to prove your point. You don't need to prove yourself to anybody. If others don't agree with you and you're telling them that you have this thing, no, just let it be. Just do what you're doing, do what you makes you feel happy, and don't focus on what other people will say, because they are just a reflection of you. You are the most important. Your inner self, your inner beliefs are what will reflect in your external eventually, even if it's not instantly showing up. And hence, don't hold any grudges. Just be your happy divine self. Oh wow, that was a very long message and reading, but I hope that was helpful. And if you enjoyed it, please give it a like, and wish you lots of love and light. Welcome, pile 2. Those of you who chose this ring, let's take a look at your situation where there's opportunity for evolving your beliefs to find more love and peace. Okay. So this has to do with your family, your community, your friend circle, your commitment to them. Let's see what the chakra cards have to say. Let me just quickly ask you. Okay, let's take a look at these cards. What card wants to come out for pile 2? Is there any more cards that want to come out for pile 2? Okay. Let's take a look at some of the beliefs that we can adopt to find more love and peace. Okay. That's a beautiful message. Oh. Yeah. So, yeah, it's kind of a lot of synchronicities in your reading, pile 2. This pile definitely talks about your commitment to your society. You might be feeling guilty about certain commitments in your life that may be holding you back. So, this is definitely talking about your family or your friends or the people you hang out with, your work peers, and all, like whatever you hold as community. There is a change happening presently in your life in regards to this. And you might be holding a certain belief that is making you feel anxious and not the best, making you feel heavy. And you might be feeling guilty about causing this shift, causing this change, because it is affecting other people as well. And because you are very um, conscious about wanting to do the right thing, you know, seeking perfection in this situation where there's a lot of change happening in your relationships with with your community, and there might be a lot of truth revelations, and truth can be as much as it is essential to for our own peace and happiness, because it is changing things up. People are so stuck in their comfort zones, not wanting to evolve, that it can stir their realities when this happens. And you might be taking um, a blame for that in your situation, that perhaps you feel you're abandoning certain community members from your life. And here the universe wants to guide you that if they see it as abandonment, it is their limited perception. Because feeling of abandonment comes from a victim consciousness, when we feel that something has been done wrong to us. And yes, it is sad because they don't even it's not even their fault, because they were destined to be programmed in that victim consciousness by their family and friends, and everybody is in victim consciousness right now, till they become so self-aware to realize that they can actually be a creator of their lives. And when we are in this creator abundant consciousness, we don't see anything as abandonment. We are just grateful for whatever happens to us, whatever universe brings to us, whether it's breaking of an old connection, being grateful of whatever memories you cherish, whatever things you learned. You will not see it as abandonment. You will not see it as betrayal. You will be grateful of that journey that you took with that person, and you will try to end it with a loving, grateful note. And because if there is unresolved anger and victim energy left in the situation when it ends, the cycle is just going to repeat again. And that's why it's so important to um, end things in a higher perspective way with unconditional love, and releasing those relationships with love as well, like having feelings of love for them. And it is not your responsibility for how the other person perceives it. Yes, you can share your perspective with them, but if they choose to stick to low vibrational beliefs and perspectives, it is really their work. You cannot do work for them. It is about them doing their own inner work. You are not responsible for anybody's happiness, because happiness and abundance is a state of mind. And you're not responsible for anybody's happiness. They have to evolve themselves so that they are not affected by the external through their inner healing, inner work. If they are expecting their external to work in accordance with their ego, then they need to evolve that. It is not your responsibility to work in accordance with their ego to please them. That's a limiting relationship. An unlimited, destined spiritual relationship is not going to limit you in any way. It's going to feel liberating even when you're in a connection with them. Because relationships are not meant to be responsibilities, they are not meant to be obligations, they are not meant to hold you back because of fear, make you do things out of fear, or control you in accordance to their ego. Or the ego aspect is really balanced in a very high level spiritual, high vibrational connection. There is no connection that's low level or high level. I apologize for that. There is just a more expanded, high vibrational relationship where both people have done the inner work, evolved to a point where the ego is tamed and balanced, and there is no control over the external because of the ego. Now, this is a big statement to make, control of the external because of the ego, and what does it actually mean? So, let me give a few examples. So I will be stating examples from this reality show that I was watching. Not reality show. It's actually a daily soap sort of a thing. It's called Desperate Housewives, and um, so in that they show very beautifully the dysfunctions in the prevalent in the present society. Some of the ways you control is like the housewife was so upset that his husband was not cleaning the apartment that she brought in her mouse and let it out in the house, and the next day she came back, the house was clean because she guilted the husband into doing the housework. In a way, that's controlling. The other example would be, this grandfather came to visit the family, and the boy was sitting on the roof, and as he climbed onto the ladder to get him down, he kind of instilled fear in him, like, do you want, why are you behaving like a little girl, almost like instilling fear and judgment on the little child to get him to do the work, instead of trying to find a more loving way, or not or allowing him to have his own choice, not trying to control or influence other people's choices out of fear, out of control, out of ego, because your mind is so set on one outcome that you'll force the other person, manipulate the other person to be the certain way. The other example would be, um, yeah, there are a lot of examples. The other one that I was talking about is not coming to my mind right now. But what I want to point out is a good relationship, a balanced, healthy relationship, an ideal relationship where you find your peace and happiness and fulfillment and freedom, free will, is one where there is no control and fear. And it might seem it is impossible to achieve that. That's only because people fail to do the inner work to change their inner beliefs and expect others to behave that way. Because if we are not changing and only throwing it on to others and expecting others to work in accordance to ourselves, it's never going to happen, because even if it happens momentarily, but it's never going to stop affecting you, because if your belief system does not change from inside, your external situation will not evolve as well. So the key to this is, if you want to find true happiness and peace, we have to expand our mind, not be attached to one thing, not try to control people with fear and try to manipulate them to do certain thing because our mind tells us that that's the right thing. Trying to protect your children by controlling them and restricting them and limiting them is really not a good thing to do as well. So that was just another example that popped up in my mind. uh, so yeah, so a, a good higher level belief of letting go of relationships that do not serve you is understanding that all of this is destined, and releasing those relationships with love and gratitude. People who hold you back, people who are not supportive of you, people who are controlling of you, detach yourself from those relationships, or at least maintain a healthy boundary in those relationships and commitments. And this talks about, the receptive card talks about balance between, it's called sensual here, but I would say the logic and the intuition, and being fearless and allowing yourself to be guided. What happens is, because of this pattern that has been so ingrained in us, that we have to do this, we are expected to do this in a relationship, we are expected to um, do as our parents tell us, or we are expected to take care of them when they're old. All of these things, they should not be treated as an obligation or responsibility or a forceful implication on somebody, because that hampers with the free will. Whenever the free will is tried to be taken over, it creates a imbalance and a feeling of dis-ease within us, and that's indicating that you are limiting yourself. And as beings in this universe, as creators, we don't want to ideally do that. We don't want to limit ourselves when our universe is unlimited. We always want to keep expanding and evolving. And so any limitation is actually blocking you from your own abundance. And hence, not treating these expectations as obligations, by drawing healthy boundaries and ensuring and letting the people in your community know that you will not do something out of pressure or obligation. You will do it out of love. And when you do that, when you say that you will do things out of love, you're choosing your free will. You're choosing to find your power in the situation. You're not going to take care of them because you're expected to. You're going to take care of your family because that is what you are feeling guided to do. Your higher self, you're choosing to do that. And the more people try to be needy, the harder it becomes to do it with love. And that's why, if somebody in a relationship is trying to limit you or overexploit you or make you feel guilty or makes themselves feel like codependent on you, yes, if that happens, you can find your power by bringing awareness into the situation, by saying what I said earlier, that you're not obligated to anybody or anything, because the source gives all of us the free will to choose, to make our own connections, to make our own destiny. And you choose relationships that are healthy, balanced, and loving and supportive. You don't choose to stick around unhealthy relationships that try to control you or instill fear in you or make them do things their way. And as much as you get this free will, I would just like to add this statement that as much as you're trying to become independent and detach yourself from the family members, make sure you're doing it from a very good intentioned place. Because if because if we choose anger, or if we choose any other low vibration or greediness or jealousy like these, in that case, or anger for that matter, in that case the cycle gets reflected back to us, because the universe is our reflection. And that cycle, that karma people call. And so be very mindful that you are respecting yourself in the situation, but also not treating others the way you would not like to be treated, um, because it will come back to you, and then you will realize how it felt, and there's nothing wrong with that as well. It's just that um, it will get reflected back to you. So try not to go to the other extreme where you are behaving out of anger or jealousy or greediness. And even if you and don't there's no need to be scared about it, because it's not about being right or wrong. It's about being expansive in perception to attain a balance between the positive and negative forces. It's not about going to the either extreme of being totally codependent to being totally isolated. Relationships are very um, beautiful way of learning about ourselves. As much as we think um, that that person is going to help me, like make me feel more secure and fulfilled, all of that is actually an illusion, because all of that is just a state of mind, and any imbalance that you have in your energetic field around you gets reflected back to you in the relationships. So, uh, yeah, just know and that you don't need to feel guilty about doing anything a certain way, because there is a no right or wrong way about it. Just doing things that you feel in your heart are in alignment with yourself, just doing that for yourself, standing up for yourself, is what is going to bring you peace, happiness, and expansion. And if you have people in your life that limit you, that control you, that you feel obligated or responsible towards, and you feel that burdensome energy in regards to people you're in a connection with, try to detach yourself and find balance, because that is preventing you from seeing all the beauty that exists in the universe, the beauty life has to offer. And the guidance for you, the new belief that you can adopt in this situation is firstly this, that there's no right or wrong way. It's about attaining balance between the two, between the extremes. And the other belief that will help you in this situation is to live in the moment in a state of abundance, self-worth, and love. When we love ourselves enough and we have enough self-worth for ourselves, we make choices that ensure our peace and happiness. If we are choosing to put somebody else over us, then we are not going to feel fulfilled, because that is not what was in alignment to us. And that's why it's important to realize that only you and only you know what's best for you. Other people might say that they are elder and old and more experienced, and none of that matters. Trust me, you know what's best for you, and you need to stand up for yourself to make choices in alignment with yourself. Be fearless and allow yourself to be guided, is the other belief that is coming out for you. And finally, because I did not address this card earlier, which I should have, let me just quickly go back to that. A relationship that you once thought was beautiful and innocent has taken opposite route and requires detachment. You can focus on the memories cherished, but not on future expectations. And this card is guiding you to be fearless in detaching yourself, not feeling guilty or responsible for anybody else's actions or perception. If you feel that your relationship with somebody is not making you feel happy, fulfilled, and is making you feel trapped, restricted, limited, and they are not respectful of your free will, then that relationship needs to be let go of. And that requires you to trust that. And that might make you feel guilty here as well, because letting go of somebody because they don't have that evolved state of being, they will feel sad. Perhaps you are this more evolved person and you know that you'll be okay, because you know that this is destiny and you will cherish the good. But perhaps you're feeling guilty that the other person is not wise enough to take it well, and that's what worries you. But You are not responsible for that. Just know that you're not responsible for how other people perceive. You can choose to be there to some extent, a healthy extent, to help them see the situation better, to ease their mind sometimes. Um, but really respect yourself and choose to detach. They will find their own peace. Nothing will happen to them that was not a reflection of their subconscious mind, and they will evolve eventually. Even if they blame you or they are angry at you or upset at you, you have to remember that you did what was you were being guided to do, and you can find your peace and happiness by connecting with your higher self, sending healing towards yourself and this other connection that you had, and release it with gratitude and love so that the cycle is not repeated. Okay, pile 2. So I hope that this reading was helpful and you found some new beliefs that would help you in this situation. It's all about reprogramming old beliefs that make us feel low and heavy and replacing them with ones that make us feel light and happy. And I hope that this reading brought you that. And if you enjoyed the reading, please give it a like. And I wish you lots of love and light. Welcome, pile 3. Those of you who chose this beautiful charm with the winner stand, a person is standing at position 1. There's another laptop at position 2, and this is like the third and greater than 3 position where this other person is standing. And I made this charm thinking about how we put ourselves first, where the other person involved in the relationship has put them first, which is good, and put their work second and put you not as a priority. But that was initially the intention, but this might mean something else for you when we look at your cards. So let's take a look at what is the situation pile 3 is in, to see what new beliefs they can fish out to find more love and peace in the situation. So let's take a look at pile 3's situation. Okay, courtship, as I guessed. This is talking about a romantic connection and what beliefs you have about it. There's a lot of concern here when it comes to the courtship, but let's take a look at what. So this is what we want to evolve, right? This is the situation of the courtship, and whatever worry and low vibration that is keeping you away from your peace, we want to evolve in this reading so that we can find more peace and ease of mind to see how to navigate it. Okay. So I was talking about something else. Let me ask you if these are the cards. Should I reshuffle? Okay, let's reshuffle. Okay, what cards want to come out for pile 3? What cards want to come out for pile 3's situation? Oh, I guess I was not supposed to reshuffle. Same cards came out. Okay. Okay. Faith. Let's see if any more cards want to come out for pile 3. Is there any more cards? 2 more cards. Yep. Workaholic. And complacency. Okay. Let's take a look at some of the cards from this deck. What wants to come out? Pile 3. That was pretty quick. Okay. Illusion. We have logic. Is this visible? Okay. Then we have inspire. Then we have control. Then we have truth. And then we have decision. Lots of cards for you, pile 3. Let's see what beliefs want to come out. What belief wants to come out for pile 3? Lol, I am not going to take so many. Let's do it again. What beliefs want to come out for pile 3? What beliefs will help pile 3 find more love and peace? Ew. Okay, I'll take these. So if something makes you feel like victim energy again, turn around the story. Look at that. Beautiful synchronicity. Then we have, I create a good intention and I'm unaffected by others' opinions. Yep. So pile 3, the situation that you're in definitely revolves around your romantic connection, and what is coming out here is that the relationship that you're currently in, you might be in love with this person and this person might be in love with you, but because of the imbalances in our own masculine and feminine energies within the two partners is not balanced, the relationship is not fulfilling and happy. When we are not balanced within ourselves, even though we might have love for the other person and we might feel this strong pull towards them, but the relationship cannot reach balance as well because both the two parties are imbalanced, and that causes a lot of conflict. And there's conflict everywhere, but there is a lack of happiness in the connection, because as you can see here in the victim card and complacency, perhaps the viewer feels like a victim in the connection. They feel like their needs are not met, that they are not loved, they are not cared for as much as they would like to be, the way they would like to be cared for. Perhaps the little things in the connection are not focused upon, and there may be 2-3 scenarios, but one scenario is that you might be feeling less of a priority, as this charm suggests, because your partner might be too focused on their own work. Perhaps they prioritize their career and work over the connection and relationship and family that they have with you. They always choose their work before you, and that makes you feel that affects your self-worth. And you are right in feeling that, because nobody should be made to feel like this. However, the cards are reminding you that you are feeling this because of not being balanced within yourself as well. I mean it with no judgment, but in order to balance this connection, first some inner work needs to be done. More self-love has to be given. And the inner dialogue, how you speak to yourself, perhaps you have your birthday and your partner forgets it. And instead of feeling sad that they forgot about your birthday or your anniversary, you can choose to give that love to yourself and be happy within yourself. Because we're always expecting the other person to love us and to take care of us, we forget to give it to ourselves, which leads to this energy of complacency and victim energy. So these cards are suggesting that when you gain independence and are not affected by how much love you're getting from the external and giving all that love back to yourself, nurturing yourself, telling yourself that you are lovable and you're worthy and you're most beautiful, as you work on your self love, these energies will start to dissipate and bring in more energies of happiness and fulfillment because you are getting what you desire. Your needs of being loved, they are valid, and instead of expecting them from your partner, it is important for you to give it to yourself to achieve this balance in the relationship. Because when we don't love ourselves, that is reflected back to us through our relationships, and the other person, when we're not giving the love to ourselves, the person we are in a relationship is also um, reflecting that they are not loving us back. They are probably giving their energy elsewhere, but just like we are giving our energy, all everything to our partner and nothing to ourselves. And they are reflecting that by giving all of their energy to their work and nothing back to you. And in order to balance that, we need to start giving that love to ourselves and not expecting that from the partner. Or perhaps the other situation might be that um, you might be the one who feels guilty over working all the time. You might also try to, the other scenario that's coming through is that you are not acknowledging this truth about your connection, and you are might be feeling guilty about not giving up on this connection by staying true to what you're committed, by distracting yourself with your own work or distracting yourself with housework. So take it as it resonates. Not everything will resonate with everyone. So only choose what makes resonates with you. And this scenario that you might also be distracting yourself with other work and choosing not to look at this situation like it is. You might be settling to be in this situation because this is more comfortable. You know how the situation is, and you're making peace with whatever you are getting right now. And so you're partly choosing not to acknowledge this truth because that would mean leaving this connection, perhaps, or moving to somewhere you don't know where to go. And it's like you are choosing not to be true to yourself. You're choosing not to be true to yourself in order to be in a comfortable position. And that's what these cards are saying. So the truth card says that you know the answer, but you're choosing not to see the full truth because it's not always easy to see the truth. It is hurtful. It is hard to realize that this situation is not balanced. It's not happy. It's not making me feel happy. It's not making me feel fulfilled. And because we have made this commitment, we feel that okay, it's better to torture ourselves instead of trying to make any drastic changes and causing any conflict. And so that might be the energy of this situation. Now, the other thing that is coming through here is that you may be forcing your beliefs and opinions onto others, even if they are with good intention, but they need to be self-realized. So you might be facing this situation where you often find yourself telling the person that this is my need and I want you to do this, and you try to sometimes control the situation to make it work your way. But nothing really changes because the person seems to not understand either, or not pay heed to it, or not change anything. And that's because this change needs to happen within yourself first for your external to reflect that back to you. Hence, this is saying that controlling the external is never the answer, because we cannot really control the external. Our external will only change when we change our own beliefs and thoughts, and that's good because that's what brought you to this reading, because you do realize that, and that's commendable and the first step to making that shift. So even if you're feeling this victim energy right now, this card suggests that if something makes you feel, so this is the new belief that you can adopt to find freedom, peace, and happiness in your current situation. And this says that if something makes you feel like a victim, turn around the story and then don't think about it. So, whatever is making you feel heavy about the situation, just turn around the story. For example, if you feel like, if your belief about this relationship is, let's say, that this other person, your partner, does not care for you, if that is what you tell yourself every time you get triggered, that they don't care about you anymore, then that belief is what is causing you pain and trouble. And you can replace it with the belief that I am unaffected by others' opinions of me because I love and accept myself unconditionally, and I love and accept my external environment, and I do not react. Now, what this belief will replace is that feeling of self-love and self-fulfillment. That I accept myself, I am perfect the way I am, and the universe loves me, my highest self loves me unconditionally, and I'm surrounded by this love all around me. I just need to become aware and conscious of it for me to be able to experience this profound blissfulness that I always have access to. But because I'm not aware of it, I cannot tap into it, because wherever the energy, wherever your thought will go, your energy goes. So when you focus on this love that is available to all of us, you will feel loved. When you focus on being a victim, then you will feel pain. So that's how we change the relationship with the belief that we have developed in our mind. And that requires a lot of self evaluation and analysis of how we speak to ourselves, because that is what will reflect in our external. And let's take a look at the other cards. Yeah, so this is talking about indecision. So this is related to you firstly not completely seeing the truth, and that's where the indecision is coming from. When you allow yourself to see the complete truth, even painful, you will know the right thing to do. You will, when you ask yourself, is this making me feel happy, and do I want to settle for something that is not making me feel happy? Like, I have been gifted this experience of life, experience of existing in the 3D plane. Do I want to live like this without peace and happiness? Because I can have peace and happiness. I can have fulfilled relationships where I am respected and loved. And to achieve that, start working towards that. And some of the things that one is required for that state, evolved state, is letting go of beliefs, reevaluating beliefs and changing them, and constantly giving self-love and not being affected by the external, and projecting energy into the external only what we will be happy to receive back, because everything on the external is a reflection of the self. And here, because, and this indecision is also, this logic card is also in alignment with the truth card, because you are thinking logically that if I leave this connection, where will I go? Will I find a better connection? Because of this negative self-talk, because you can have whatever you want guaranteed. All you need to do is the inner work and be patient, and be patient and not settle for anything less. And because you're thinking logically, or because of how things have always worked in the past, your ancestral patterns and beliefs, that part, that programming sometimes overpowers your intuition, what you're feeling guided to do in the moment, and you choose the logical answer instead of what you're feeling, what your heart is drawing you to. Because whatever your heart will draw you to, you will feel happy and light doing that. And whenever we feel happy and forced, that's when our mind, ego, fearful side of ourselves has made the choice. So that's a quick way to understand what choices we are making. Because a good aligned choice would always make you feel light and happy and blissful. And so, with these beliefs, the third belief is that I create a good intention through being myself truly and being happy. Yes, so there's a lot of emphasis on facing the truth here, facing and seeing the truth for what it is. Understanding that this situation is fulfilling you or not. And if it's not, you need to start giving that love back to yourself. Start being true to yourself. Not trying to hide parts of yourselves because you don't want to cause conflict. Because only when you are your true self will you find your true happiness. And that's what we are all striving for. But we choose to settle because of fear, and fear of the unknown, fear of giving up our comfort zones. And for that, control, our sense of control has to be balanced, because we want to stay in control of the situation by staying where we are, because we know what it is and how it is. Allowing ourselves to let go of certain things that are not working out is the way to go, is the way to your true happiness. And once you see past these illusions and embrace the truth, you will not be affected or feel confused, because you will have developed this evolved state of self-worth and self-love, where you're unaffected by your external, where your happiness and abundance is a state of mind, where you know how to flow with the universe, where you're not afraid to follow your instinct, where you're not afraid to let go of things that are not fulfilling you. And to be able to do that, one needs to start nurturing themselves. One needs to realize that these connections don't have to be this way. We are not required to be in unhealthy relationships. We can have healthy, possible, positive, balanced, loving relationships in our lives. All that is required of us is to have faith, let go of control, and surrender to the universe, and heal our inner selves. So that was an intense reading for you, Pile 3. But I hope you found some healing messages, and hopefully did not get too triggered, because this was a triggering reading for you. And I wish you lots of love and healing. And universe is with you. Okay, don't be scared to follow your truth. Okay, wish you lots of love and light. And if you enjoyed the reading, please give it a like.